Good morning and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get-together live here on Facebook every morning of the week, 10:30, where we get together and exchange headlines, topics, comments, suggestions, tips, and general information on how to have a better, wonderful life here in Puerto Vallarta as an English-speaking community. If you're new to these broadcasts, my name is Paco, and we'd love to hear from you if you're new. And you can help us give you a proper welcome by writing the word new in your comment, and we'll be able to welcome you properly. For the rest of us, it's always nice to touch base with folks that I haven't seen in a while, and also from folks that visit us on a regular basis, that spend time tuning in with us. And it's always great to see you join in from all over the place, from just downtown Puerto Vallarta, like Jill, all the way to, let's see, well, Paul is in Boston, Christine is in San Miguel de Allende, Linda is still in Yakima, and Bob is in Sacramento. You guys are everywhere and here at the same time. It is always a welcome sight. Michelle asks, where is it? Michelle asks, where is your background? Now we see where Luna actually lives. That is correct. I moved some things around yesterday. I figured I needed to move furniture around the house. So this is actually where Luna lives. You're looking at the background of mi casa, which is also su casa. And we'll see how this goes. Yep. Terry Gone asks, no brick wall today, and I think we're going to put the brick wall to sleep. I figured there are benefits and challenges of having a successful green screen behind you, and we're going to put the green screen in the laundry room for a little while. We'll see how that goes, and if it goes well, then we'll stick to it. If it doesn't, we'll bring the green screen back again. Today we have news about this, that, and the other, but we also have an important comment that I received from one of our viewers. Arlene said, please tell me how, after clicking on an article, I can translate it to English. Everything is in Spanish. Thank you. We will address this during today's broadcast, and we'll do that in a little while. First, let us get started with the news. And once we get into the leisurely stuff, we'll take a look at how to translate the websites that we share with you in the show notes. Oh, sorry. Michelle asks, I like being in your space. How will the projections work? I am still learning. I'm not sure that I understand the question. Maybe by projections you mean like all the other screens that I put on. It'll work fine, Michelle. And if it doesn't, you'll be the first to let me know, and we'll bring things back to the way they used to be. But first, let's tackle some news and get the show on the road. Well, we've been reporting on the fact that hospital occupation is decreasing in the region, and we've also been reporting that tourism occupation is increasing, and we see that in more and more articles, which is good to see because it brings prosperity to the region. I don't know if this photo is recent or not. I see some vendors with face masks. I see a bunch of people without face masks. So I don't know when this photograph was taken, but all I can tell you is that it is a good thing that hospital occupation is going down. Tourism is increasing. This brings obviously prosperity to a region. And of course, it also brings more people for us to worry about. Let us hope that all the people that are visiting us are taking care of the necessary precautions. Yesterday, we also announced that several hotels are preparing to reopen. This news bit caught my attention. Apparently, Melia, which has an hotel here in Puerto Vallarta, is getting ready to increase their occupancy back to 50%. They are looking forward to it, and they are saying that they're getting more and more tourists each day. The Melia has 324 rooms, and they are starting to climb up on their occupation. So this is, again, good for the tourism industry in the region. Elsewhere, it's nice to see that City Hall has launched this campaign of fixing a number of streets around the bay. This is very much needed for streets that require maintenance after the rain season, but also areas, let me show you some of these photos, areas in which streets have never been paved before are being intervened all over the bay. And this is, of course, a good thing to see. There's our mayor ready for his photo op, of course. So let us hope that this will include some of the streets that had been announced in Versalles and elsewhere in places where we need new pavement, that's for sure. Elsewhere, we find out that Hugo Lopez Gatell confirmed that 5,000 Mexicans will participate in the trials for phase 3 for the vaccine produced by Johnson and Johnson. This is good news, I suppose, but between you and me, given all the different vaccines that are being tried out, it is difficult to keep track of what vaccine trial is starting and which one is following and so forth and so on. But one way or another, I am just happy to see that we are getting closer to a vaccine. In terms of the Ayotzinapa case, which we have been following in the last few days, I see that there are two headlines that caught my attention. The first one is, once again, Mexico President Andrés Manuel López Obrador stating that nobody will be protected as the government continues to move forward to a place in which they can clarify exactly what happened with the disappearance of 43 students 6 years ago. And the second headline that caught my attention has to do with the fact that the president is asking for the witnesses to be protected. This is not something that I know enough about in terms of whether witness protection is something that exists in Mexico or not. But AMLO is asking that by protecting the witnesses, they'll be able to break the silence that many of them abide by when it comes to speaking out in terms of these things. I see some questions popping up. I'll get to those in a second. Actually, I think we're moving close and close to, yes, we are pretty much beginning the leisurely part. Whoa, time is flying. So let me take a quick look at what you nice people are asking and talking about. Oh, that's right. Today is Tuesday, and Tony is asking, do you know where can I watch the presidential debate this evening on my internet devices? I hope there's an answer for you here, but I would imagine that any of the networks, CNBC or the news networks that have YouTube channels are going to be broadcasting this. I know that I can access PBS from YouTube as I watch the PBS news just about every day. So I would suspect that one should be able to watch the presidential debate there if you want to watch it. I see that Dante Riley has provided an answer. Thank you very much for that. Let's see. Oh, I see some of you have acquired the habit of calling one another tocayos and tocayas. That's wonderful. And let's see. I can empathize with this comment from Mark. I think there's been a lot of debate going on in the city as to whether we should continue to think about Puerto Vallarta as this magical little town that deserves cobblestone roads. And then there are those who rightfully feel that, we are a city now, we should have our city paved properly. There's good parts and bad parts about either. I personally would also like for all streets to be properly paved. Question from Jeannie, is there somewhere where we can see the list of streets that will be done? Let me take a look at that, Jeannie. I don't know that the specific list is available, but I would imagine that there should be, because this has to do with budgets that the city has to submit and have to be approved. So I will look into that and try to give you an answer if I can, and if not, I'll make a couple of phone calls. Sorry to not have a quick answer for you right now. Let's see. Couple of more comments about live news for this evening. Excellent. So let me move on with more leisurely stuff and the weather forecast. Bam. So let us start with our weather, which is 28 degrees right now, feels like 35. Fahrenheit, it is 82 degrees out there. Humidity is slightly lower than yesterday. It's 94%. We have a 5% chance of precipitation right now. And the weather forecast tells us that we can expect rain in the afternoon. And what about that storm we had last night? And tomorrow it'll be humid and mostly cloudy through the day. And Thursday, again, it'll be humid through the day with a little bit of wind. No major things to concern ourselves with. And now what I'd like to do before we move on is I'd like to talk a little bit about this little request that we got and break it down. First of all, let us remember that when we put news items in the show notes in Spanish, it's not a dare for you to translate. I put the news links in Spanish only because in my mind, they add credibility to what we're trying to do here. Occasionally, I do share links in English, and I have wondered in the past whether it would make sense for me to highlight the news notes in English, the news items that are in English, so that you know, these all I have to do is click and read them. But for the rest of them, you can use a browser like Google Chrome to translate pages. And I did some digging in. Don't do this very frequently, but let me call up my Google browser, my Google Chrome. Hold on just a second. Google Chrome. Bam, there we go. So here is Google Chrome. I stopped using Google Chrome on a regular basis here at Coffee and Headlines because Google Chrome has this bad habit of updating itself automatically, and sometimes has decided to update itself in the middle of a broadcast, which slows down my internet. And I think that's where all those crazy meltdowns we used to have with internet service came from a few months ago, when I was like going crazy with problems with our broadcast. So anyhow, I'm here at Google, and there's my mouse moving. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. So if I go up to the upper right hand corner where you cannot even see it, there's a 3 ... menu. And if you go down to settings, you click on settings, and it brings you to this long list of chingaderas that you can select. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there is a button that says advanced. And if I go on advanced, here is where you can select the languages. And you can select spell check. Where is it? I just saw it. Let me see. Oh, language. Let me click down. There you go. So I can set up the languages that I like, and I have highlighted that I like English and Spanish. And I can also say, click here, offer to translate pages that aren't in a language you read. And when you have that selected on, and the gods are in your favor, if you see a website in a language that you have not selected, you are thus able to select that language or that website and have the browser translate it for you. That is the way to do it. Or at least that's the way I know to do it. I hope that this little tutorial is helpful for those of you that are curious to read some of the news items that I share with you in Spanish. And now let me go back to some other headlines that I have here for you. And to do that, give me just 1 second. Let me select, there we go. We are here, and I wanted to let you know that despite the pandemic, there's a series of films and television series that are being filmed here in Puerto Vallarta. The article is not specific to let us know whether we can go and stand around and watch any specific production being filmed, But I do remember that about a month ago, the big Puerto Vallarta letters were pulled out and polished and cleaned up so that a series by Netflix could be filmed in town. Um, and this article tells us that 16 films and series were shot here in Puerto Vallarta during the last year from brands like Amazon and Televisa, and of course Netflix as well. And this is good news because this brings awareness and prosperity to our region. I also caught this headline about the event that went on over the weekend at the Rio Los Horcones at Boca de Tomatlan. The headline says the cleanest river in Jalisco, in Puerto Vallarta, will be protected by its own citizens. And the article goes on to specify how there is a petition in the online platform change.org that has received 700,000 signatures asking the government of Mexico to decrete the river as a natural protected area. And this is, of course, to prevent further development of a hydroelectric plant that is apparently being built, or there's a construction company hoping to build this plant upriver. I don't know specifics about how the event went on this weekend. I hope the event was good to raise awareness for everything that's going on there, and of course, good for all parts involved. This news item also caught my attention. There are more crocodiles that have been spotted on the beach. This should not be a cause for fear, of course, unless you decide to go get really close to the beach. But apparently, another crocodile was spotted, this time in the beach that is by Hotel Las Palmas. Again, given the fact that crocodiles are fairly territorial, they tend to expand their habitats during the rain season, and this is why it is more common to see them on the beaches this time of year. And that is that. Let me then show you. Oh, this has a little bit of a story. There is a brand of tortilla chips out there. It's called Sanissimo. You may recognize the logo. I used to buy these tortilla chips quite a bit because they are not fried. They are toasted tortilla chips, which have less fat in them. But then I stopped buying them because sometimes, they come in little packs, and sometimes I would open a little pack and it would be rancid, and I approached the label and they never replied to me. Well, apparently, this label, which is called Sanissimo, which is a wordplay on the word sano, which means healthy, has had all the new obligatory stickers attached to their box, and people took to Twitter to make fun of the fact that this is supposed to be the super healthy brand. And of course, the label says that their products have excess calories, excess sugars, and excess saturated fat. And the brand quickly responded something along the lines of, all our products are healthy except for the ones that are made with chocolate. And it was just one of those things in which you want people to think that your products are healthy, but when your brand name is super healthy, there's only so much you can do about that. Speaking of super healthy, or maybe not, I was very happy to read that the Food Tianguis, the food stands at the PTL Plaza are back in operation after 5 months of being shut down. Anybody who's been in the PTL area in the evening has probably enjoyed the fact that along these food stands, you can enjoy all these Mexican traditional things like enchiladas and corn on the cob and so forth and so on. And it is nice to see that the authorities have deemed it sensible or appropriate to reopen this in PTL again. If you have never tried these food items, they are quite yummy, and I will go and check it out sometime in the near future and take photos so that you can see what it's all about. With the increase of tourism, this note also caught my attention. The fact that tourists walking along the Malecón, especially at night, apparently have taken to their own devices, just disregarding the yellow bands that are protecting people, that are preventing people from getting close to the sculptures, and taking photographs regardless. My take on that is, and I think we talked about it um, the other day, when people are allowed to enter nightclubs and so forth and so on, and enclosed spaces without much regulation, I cannot imagine how it can be detrimental or that dangerous for people to be able to walk out and about on the Malecon. But again, I am not the one that makes the rules. I only comment on this. I see questions and comments. I'll get to you in a second. Let me share two more items that I want to show. There's a new Lord out and about. This would be Lord Pizza, a man who was not wearing a face mask and was refused service at a pizza shop. I think this was in Mexico City. Oh no, it was in the state of Jalisco, right in our own state. This man who walked into a Little Caesars and was rejected service because he was wearing a face mask, decided to get upset about it and started punching employees. And apparently he was caught on video. And well, we know how it goes. And the last headline that I have to share with you before I get into your comments has nothing to do with us, but I thought this was perfect ammunition for Sunday Fun Day. Check out this 5 parrots. Apparently, these are 5 parrots in a London zoo that have been put in isolation because they were using potty language and insulting visitors. So they are being put in isolation so that they can, I don't know, moderate the language. I don't know. But I'm going to make it a mission between now and Sunday to find footage, videos of these characters to see just how potty mouthed they are and if they were actually really making that much noise. No pun intended. And I'll get back to you on that. Let me take a quick look at your comments and see what you are thinking about. La 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 la. Dun 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 dun. Pilar Perez is right. You can preserve a historical section with cobblestone streets as they do in Europe. Wouldn't that be nice if we were able to do that here in some sections? I completely agree with that. Paul doesn't want to see it in his section. I can appreciate that. Steve asks a political question about Trump. Well, maybe, Steve, turn it into a... You know what you can do, Steve? What you can do is make it a mission. Whatever you hear on the television that seems to be a lie to you, every time you hear something like that, say, I'm going to lift something from my apartment and put it away. If I did that, my apartment would be spotless. Or if I did a push-up every time I heard something that seemed like a lie, oh my God, my arms would be fantastic. But I don't know that I'm going to do that. Let's see. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Fake news, go away from this site, please. Sue, we try to keep things as unfake as possible here, as you know it. And that's going back to what I was talking about, the articles posted in Spanish. I post the articles in Spanish, even if I know that many of you will not understand them, just so that you know that the things that I'm telling you are not coming out of thin air, and credibility is very important to us. Michelle asks, as you have both English and Spanish selected, which is the default language an article not in either of those languages would be translated to? I don't have an answer for you, Michelle. I suggest you go and play with the settings. I have English and Spanish selected because those are the 2 languages that I understand. If you only understand English, then you should deselect Spanish so that if you are presented with a website in Spanish, then the system will, in theory, ask you whether you want this to be translated to English or not. I don't know if Stephanie's coming or going, but she's wishing us a good morning today. Good morning to you, Stephanie. Let's see. Liz offers more helpful suggestion about this Google Chrome business. I hope this is helpful for you guys. Terry, is that is exactly what was happening to me. I used to buy the box that has individual packets inside, thinking to myself, well, these are individually sealed, so they should last for a while. And again, lo and behold, I bought a box with enough little packages, and a few of them were rancid, and that's when I started not buying the brand. Patricia misses the food stands in the evening. That makes two of us. Um, and yes, there is a tostada factory in Versalles. I don't remember the name either. Um, what Terry is writing about the crocodiles is very true, and we said this before. They are territorial creatures, so this is something that you should not take lightly. I saw a newspaper article of some tourists feeding crocodiles in Marina Vallarta, and that's probably the worst thing that you can do, because that encourages them to know that they can set up a territory there, and that would thus increase their population. But it's a complicated thing. I mean, crocodiles got here before we did, so it is their territory after all. Bill reports that there was no barrier around the PV sign on the Malecon. You know, it is quite possible, Bill, that, and thank you for reporting that, it is quite possible that the authorities have made a decision about this. How nice it would be if the authorities found a way to post on their Facebook page or something, hey, population, we've decided to do this, just be careful out there, blee, 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 blah, blah, blah. But I don't know that they have that skill yet. Let's see. Paul offers comment along the same thing. Again, it would be so nice if the authorities were working on the same page and informing on the same page. We can always wish. Thank you for that, Terry. I noticed there was a question somewhere about where to buy vanilla, and I have seen vanilla being sold there. There is a vanilla shop just as you're entering Emiliano Zapata next to the Benito Juarez parking lot along Ignacio Vallarta Street. There's a small little vanilla shop right on the parking building itself. I would suspect they should sell vanilla pods as well. I hope that is the case. Let's see. Potty mouth parrots. Oh, Michelle, if you only knew. I have this thing about parrots, and I've never had a parrot. Well, I personally haven't owned one. My mother always had a parrot in the house, so I've decided parrots, they're fun to watch on YouTube. I don't know that I could ever have a parrot here. Luna would go nuts, so we couldn't possibly do that. That is the best laugh I've had. Potty language speaking parrots. Oh, Terry, if that is your thing, have I got some YouTube videos to share with you? I will put something together. I really love the depth of your actual room background. Just beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. There's some things back there, and I may talk about them at one point or another, but the bottom line is the studio, that is the environment where I create coffee and headlines, was in my small itty bitty study, and the room was starting to feel a little bit claustrophobic. And I haven't been using the living room space as much lately. And I've come to realize that given the fact that socializing at home has stopped being a major priority for me, and the priority of keeping this project, Coffee and Headlights, entertaining and productive and inspiring for you, this is far more important to me than greeting guests here in the house. So I'm hoping that by having a little bit more room, I'll feel even more inspired to bring you wonderful content every single day, or at least that's the general intention. Let me take a quick look. If let's make it a drinking game. If this has something to do with a comment earlier about the debate tonight, I have my red wine ready to go. I love it. Let's see. I agree, though, with a certain that. Jorge is wondering if the birds were cursing with a British accent. I will do some research on this particular quintet of birds, and I think I have gotten to the last of the comments. Although, thank you, Michal, for that. She says that the vanilla store that I mentioned is the best one in her opinion. So obviously she shopped there, and it's nice to see that. Oh my God! Somebody spotted Luna in the red chair, and that is true. Are you sitting over there, Luna? Yes, she is. She is back there in the darkness. How fun is this? I love it. Anyhow, I think we've reached the end of today's broadcast. I hope you've had a good time. And I hope that, as always, you have found something here inspiring, productive, or otherwise amusing for you to enjoy. The month is almost over. We are rapidly getting close to the 6 month anniversary of Coffee and Headlines, and we are excited about everything that's coming up as the weather becomes a little bit more comfortable and easier to navigate. The idea of doing more tours out there and more walks out there becomes very, very attractive. The walk that I did on Saturday was a good reminder of that. So do expect more tours of our surroundings coming up in the future. Thank you very much for that, Rita. And thank you very much for all your feedback. It is always helpful. And of course, yesterday I dove into my mortality and my morbidity because isn't it amazing that you can learn something new? All this time I was calling mortality morbidity because I thought that it was just a nicer word to use. And here we are. I did some homework. And there is a lot to be said about mortality and morbidity. And I am always grateful for the opportunity to learn something new. And I always encourage you to live your lives, just trying to learn something new every day. I hope that it'll work for you as much as it's worked for me. We need to have a meet and greet somewhere to celebrate the anniversary. I agree with you, Jeannie. I am just waiting for everybody to feel comfortable enough to actually go places. I know that some of us are in a different place as far as comfort level, and but yes, it is definitely something that we're thinking about. And last but not least, thank you for that, Stanton. You are equally inspiring because it is thanks to you that I feel I have a purpose, and it is thanks to you that I get up every day to figure out, okay, what can I come up with today to share with my friends at Coffee and Headlines. So with that said, because we're starting to ramble and just throw love at one another, which is always nice, but I'm sure you have a long day to go. I have lots of fun things to get done today. But I want to thank you, as always, for being a part of this community, for nurturing it, for allowing me to be part of this community as well. It is always a wonderful thing. Pilar thinks we should have a headline cocktail hour. Well, we had tequila in Headlines not too long ago. I am still editing my Red Wine and Headlines interview that I had with Nina and Julian. So it is something that we can absolutely look into in the future. But between now and then, please stay healthy, stay happy, stay kind, stay kind. I said that twice, didn't I? Stay in touch, and don't go too nuts with that debate tonight. Let us hope that, despite of the differences between the two candidates, let us hope that it brings the United States to a better place, because it would seem to me, and it would seem to a lot of people that I have conversations with, the United States needs to and deserves to be in a better place than it is today. Be good, be kind, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.